Yo, what's up guys? Trader Mayne here, back with the fourth installment of the altcoin series. So in this video, we're going to be just covering altcoin requests that you guys left in the comments under some of the tweets I've made over the last few days. In the first couple videos, we covered the alt BTC and FBTC specifically ratios, how you can use those to just kind of better take advantage of volatility, what alts you should be longing and when. And then in the most recent video, one that I definitely think you should watch is about order blocks, which is one of the core PA concepts that I use on a daily basis to get in and get out of trades. So I highly suggest you guys check that one out. Hopefully you're enjoying this video series so far. This video is going to be more of just a review. So I'm going to go over a bunch of you guys' altcoins using the concepts that we've discussed in the previous videos. So we'll be calling back on the alt BTC ratios as well as the order block concept to analyze some of the charts that you guys have asked me to look at. So if you guys are liking these videos, enjoying them, please do me a big favor. Leave some likes, some comments, subscribe to the channel, put on the notification bell. Also follow me on Twitter and every other social media platform that you use, OnlyFans, YouPorn, all of them on every single one. So the coins we're gonna cover today, guys, are gonna be Solana, Avax, Serum. We'll also look at EOS. So I know I've covered some of these coins before. The reason I want to look at them again is they are some of the biggest movers, the biggest ones that have kind of recovered after the dump we saw the other day. Just kind of give you guys some tips and tricks on how you maybe could have planned some entries, maybe caught the knife on some of those drops, or how you can get in now that they're looking like they're recovering. What are some levels of confirmation we can use to get into longs, or if you think we're heading lower, what areas would we want to look to potentially short this type of price action? So as usual, these videos are in partnership with Bybit. So shout out to the Bybit team. I've been working with them for a long time now. They're helping me put out all these awesome videos on YouTube for you guys. So if you appreciate these videos like I know you do, show Bybit some love and use the link in the description to find out about the newest promo that we're running. So right now, Bybit wants to showcase their cloud mining. So I'm gonna include some information in the description of this video for you guys to check out. And I'll also have my editor put something right over my ugly face here that will cover it up about the cloud mining. It's hassle-free. There's flexible financing options. You get immediate access to liquidity using V3 Uniswap. You can get maximized returns. Their liquidity provisioning strategies are employed by industry professionals to ensure that you're getting the highest yields possible. And it's very worry-free. It's easy. It's one of the best-in-class security infrastructures out there. So your funds are always going to be safe. So again, shout out to Bybit. I'm going to leave all the information about cloud mining in the description below. Be sure to check that out. And if you have any questions, you can let me know. If I can't answer it, I'll pass it along to the team. This edition of the altcoin review is also sponsored by Decentral Games. So earn while you play in the metaverse with Decentral Games. Decentral Games is the blockchain powered home of casino games. So we're talking slots, roulette, and lottery games. Decentral Games experience is delivering real-time 3D engine to bring users the most exciting gaming experience in the metaverse. They have a host of partners, including Atari, MakerDAO, and most recently Polygon to further your play to earn experience. So if you like playing games, you like gambling, you want to earn a little bit of money while you do it, Decentral Games is the place to do so. So you can check their website out at www.decentral.games, and I'll leave a link to that and their Twitter at Decentral Games in the description. Thanks so much, Decentral Games. Let's get on with the video. All right, cool. So we've made it over to the other camera now. So gonna go through Solana, Avalanche, Avax, Serum, SRM, and EOS. And I'm just gonna give you guys quick thoughts on current state of each chart and some potential trade setups that I might be eyeing. So we'll start with Solana. Solana has gone absolutely bonkers, basically since it became a thing. Definitely since July, it's been in a very strong uptrend. The reason I'm on the high time frame chart with this one, I mean, I'm uber bullish long-term Solana ecosystem. I think it's a very negative EV bet to be betting against Sam and Alameda. And this coin is effectively their Ethereum, for lack of a better analogy. Super bullish long-term doesn't mean I'm particularly bullish where we are right now. Just looking at the weekly chart, does this look like the best coin to be longing right now? We're in price discovery. There is no price history to be looking at, but you need to understand nothing can go up forever. A good analogy or a good kind of comparison would be Bitcoin. When you're looking at Bitcoin, here, do you not see the similarities here? I'm not saying that both of these cannot resolve with more upside. They absolutely can. A chart that looks like this vertical in this short of a period of time, to me, doesn't offer the best upside risk reward. This looks like something that is more likely to have a correction before just continuing to go vertical even more. This looks a lot like Bitcoin did before we had that big correction, that big dump. I'm not saying that the top is in Solana, but looking at the chart on the high time frame, I'd say we're closer to a top than we are a bottom and are likely in need of some kind of pullback. So what does that mean? Are there any trade setups that we can get into? There's basically nothing here until you get all the way down to the daily chart. Once you get down to the daily chart, the first area of demand of interest to me is way down here at about $150, $140. So that's quite a big drop from where we are now. And if you were kind of, net long Solana, you could be eating a 20+% retracement here before it potentially continues to the upside, or maybe it's going to go even lower. I don't know. But where this thing is right now is not somewhere that I would personally be interested in longing it. So if I'm looking at Solana, that looks like a pretty key level to me there, and you could almost just round that up to like $200. But basically that swing high, we went above it and we're now back below it. So assuming that we stay below that swing high, I would have to say that the next target that I would be looking for on downside to potentially start getting into some longs, or at least looking for some sort of bullish reaction, would probably be between 173 and 180. This is kind of like a failed breakout. So the difference here versus this is we went above, stayed above, retested, pushed higher. Here, we broke above the swing high, and now we're back below testing the underside. It does not mean that this cannot just trade higher. It absolutely can, but we have a nice clear bias level here around 195, where as long as we're trading below there, I would think that we're probably going to come a little bit deeper and potentially as low as here before seeing possibly another leg up or maybe an even bigger correction. We don't know. I'm not in the game of making predictions saying, hey, no, that was the bottom, we're going all-time high. I'm interested in playing level to level and having an actionable plan and different scenarios that I can look for and then executing on them and trying to make some money. I don't really care about the rest. To me, as long as we're below this kind of swing high here at 195, my bias would be towards a little bit of a correction. The first two levels that I kicked out at you here are this 12-hour bullish order block, the down candle before the up move that broke market structure. So we can already see that we kind of came back and tested it, not quite, but within this 12-hour order block, if we come in here and we get some low time frame bullish PA, that would be a potential long trigger for me. If this does not hold, right, and we just dump down, I would be interested in looking for longs down here in this daily order block that we had marked out. The one risk that you run on Solana here is if this were to fail, you could get into a situation where this becomes a breaker. That's a future video. I will go over that eventually. And if we get below here and then reject, that would be the signal for me that we're having a much larger correction going to come in this market. We're going to trade much lower. I don't think that that's going to happen. With how bullish other altcoins have been, I'm not quite sure we get that huge correction. So I'm going to be conservative. I'm not going to fight the trend. The trend is still up, but there are other coins that I think are going to offer a way better risk reward on the long side than Solana, which has already run just since July. Let's look here. There's the low in July right there. We're already up almost 9x since a month and a half ago. I think there's other coins out there that you could be longing that will offer a better risk reward, but there's the explanation of my key levels of interest. If we start trading above 195 and closing above there and put in some bullish PA, absolutely get long again. To your heart's desire. One thing that you can kind of always do is a little bit of a bias check is look at this as if it's a trade. If you're longing this thing right now, where's your target and where's your stop? Your stop probably has to be here at least, okay? Or here, but I would say here because we ran that low already. So that low should hold, or else that low absolutely gets cooked in my opinion. So where is your target? Is your target back to the all-time high? Well, that's a shitty risk reward. Maybe you say, okay, well, I want a 2R trade here, right? We're just picking an arbitrary level here because it's in price discovery. Well, you're now assuming that something that's gone up 9x already in the last month and a half is going to do another almost 50% increase to give you a palatable risk reward. A lot of other coins that are closer to like this kind of PA, where they look like they're about to launch rather than something like this that has already been trending really, really fucking hard. Doesn't mean that it can't go up further. It absolutely can. I'm all for Team Sam, but there's my explanation, and those are the levels that I'm interested in. Solana BTC, I'm not even gonna chart it. It is the exact same chart. What does this chart represent? Go watch our old video about the ratios. This is Solana's relative strength to Bitcoin. And as you can see, Solana has basically been kicking the shit out of Bitcoin outside of a very brief couple months here, is consistently outperformed Bitcoin. So Avax is a coin I actually really like. To me, this is a much more interesting chart than Solana, because as much as this has kind of gone nuts and had a little bit of a, parabolic leg, it's had a bit of a pullback here already, right? Even on that dump that we had the other day, Solana barely pulled back. So this thing is way more bullish in my opinion. I think this is a coin that would give you a much better risk reward than Solana. Just looking at this just from a high level here, right? This looks like a breakout above those highs and a big old retest. The next thing that I would assume is going to happen is expansion to the upside. There's lots going on in the Avax ecosystem, much like there is in Solana. A lot of good stuff going on fundamentally, and to me, this looks like a chart that is coiling up for a big move to the upside. So Avax is one that I'm quite bullish on. It looks like we've effectively put in a falling wedge right above this, kind of SR flip here, right? So you've got your top here, which has now become a bottom. We're now putting in kind of like a falling wedge kind of PA here. So if this thing is able to break up and out, I think that would be quite bullish for much higher prices on Avax here. So this is one that I'm quite bullish on. Nice little SR flip here. Yeah, we're putting in lower highs and lower lows, but to me, this is, kind of consolidating after a breakout. If this thing can kind of give us another push, I think it's worth a long for sure. Absolutely, it can come down first before going up, but I am feeling pretty bullish on this. I like the way that the chart looks, and I posted this on Twitter earlier. We had a nice little 3-day swing failure pattern that formed here, and we're getting a nice push to the upside already off of it. So on that dump, we had a 3-day SFP of that low, nice close above. So to me, the next target would be all-time high. And then the next target, I'm just using a fib extension. So a 1.618 fib extension, but also is pretty damn close to $100. So if this thing resolves how I think it's going to, which is effectively big ol' SR flip, SFP here, I think we at least go for the high and potentially much higher. I like this chart a lot for continued upside. All right, Avax BTC is a very similar chart. Not quite the exact same, but the PA I'm seeing on it is quite similar. We have our little breaker bearish order block that is now flipped and is potentially acting as support there. And if we zoom in a little bit more to maybe the 12-hour chart, we get a very similar picture to the USD pair here. There's your SR flip. Here's your falling wedge. This looks bullish to me, exact same as the USD chart in terms of a setup. If this falling wedge could break to the upside, I think there's a very good chance that this thing sees some serious expansion. All right, looking at Serum. So Serum is another project that is under the umbrella of the Sam coins. So I do think that this is one that is a bit of a laggard relative to some of the other Sam coins. Like if you look at FTT, right? This is broken out. Obviously, Solana is broken out majorly. So this looks like a bit of a laggard. It still hasn't broken out of its all-time high, but I do think it's holding up pretty well after that shakeout, that dump we saw the other day. So we had our key level here broken through. We'll zoom in a little bit, and this looks like it's something that is getting ready to break out in my opinion. So if I'm looking at the 12-hour chart here, I like this level right here as an SR level here. So this was the bearish order block that caused the down move, right? Up candle before the down move that broke market structure. We rejected off it. We're now above it. So assuming we can stay above here and stay above this little kind of, 12-hour bullish order block, maybe we get a dip into that level for a potential entry on Serum down to the 980 area. I'm not sure, but assuming we stay above this kind of area, I do think that we will get a push to at the very least all-time high and potentially much higher. And you can do a very similar type of fib pull. You can pull it from the very low of the low here up to the top, and a 1.618 extension would put this around 18 bucks. The first target would be all-time high around 13 bucks. So those are the levels of interest for me here on Serum, assuming we can kind of stay above this zone and continue to consolidate up here, put in bullish price action. I think extension to the upside is coming on this, assuming the majors, Bitcoin and Ethereum don't absolutely shit the bed. Serum versus BTC, I should have picked better ones to compare versus BTC. Looking very similar from a price action perspective here. There is your block that we've kind of SR flipped, right? First test was a rejection of the bearish order block. Now we're breaking through and we're holding up. So as long as we stay above here, this 2200 sats area, I think this pushes up as well. And it's a laggard relative to FTT and Solana. So I'm liking that as well. EOS. So EOS is something that is a coin that I've longed, unfortunately, in the past, and it's treated me very poorly. Took forever to get moving. It finally moved and completely retraced it. Can this thing go up? Possibly, but the reason I'm highlighting this is not so much to show you where I think EOS is going. This is potentially a higher low that we're putting in here. Potentially. So maybe this thing is going to hold here and make a move up. It could. You should be tracking the large caps, the mid caps, the shit coins, seeing where money flows and how. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, where money and volatility generally flows from Bitcoin to Ethereum, high caps, mid caps, low caps, etc. But this one, yeah, there's potential upside, but there's just so many coins that look better than this. And at the end of the day, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get volatility? Are you trying to get something that increases in dollars, or are you trying to earn more Bitcoin? Most of you, I would assume, say that you're trading alts as a tool for more Bitcoin. Well, if that's the case, why would you trade something that looks like this versus Bitcoin when you could trade something that looks like this versus Bitcoin? Right? So that's kind of why I included EOS on this list. And you can just see here, I mean, outside of Solana, which is a little slow today, Avax is smoking today, and EOS is, up marginally. So there's better coins out there than some of these kind of old dino coins. It doesn't mean that they won't move, but going back to our lessons about the ratios, look at these things and say, okay, is my money better off in any altcoin rather than just Bitcoin? And when the chart looks like this is absolutely not one that you want to have your Bitcoin in. Can it go up? Yes. Will it go up? Maybe. But I just wanted to kind of have this one as a kind of counter to these other coins that we're looking at that are quite bullish versus Bitcoin, so you can understand how important that lesson in ratios is, right? If you're longing Solana and Avax the last couple weeks, you're smoking anyone who's longing EOS, because it's not only outperforming Bitcoin, but it's also getting tons of volatility versus the US dollar. Either way you slice it, those were the higher beta plays. Those are the plays that you want to be focused on. So go watch those first couple altcoin videos if you want a better explanation on why those ratios are important. All right, gonna go back to that camera. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the 4th edition of the altcoin series. So like I said, we're gonna be doing one of these a week. Ideally, I wanna get them out on Thursday. I was out of town, so I was just a little bit behind, but you will hear from me on Sunday with the next edition of Ethereum and Chill. So make sure to check that out. If you're liking these videos, let me know, share them, like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff for the algorithm so I can blow up and we can finally complete our mission of taking that YouTube throne from BitBoy, that beanbag looking man. If you have any questions, hit me up. Discord information will be in the description of the video as well. And of course, you can always message me on Twitter. My DMs are open, or leave a comment on YouTube. I do my best to respond to all of them. So for next week's video, if you guys want to do me a favor, post the altcoins you want to see covered in next week's video in the comments of this video. So any altcoins you want to see me check out, leave them in the comments below. And that's all I got. Trader Mayne signing off. Talk to you guys soon. How the fuck do I say this and sound like I actually know what I'm talking about? Shut up. I'm a professional businessman.